About before the beginning of spring training, pitchers and catchers report this week. It's almost that time, Dodgers Nation. Also, Clayton Kershaw officially has a new gig. How many Dodgers will be participating in the WBC? Got some very sad news about a former Dodger. Yasiel Puig was found guilty. And we've got the promotional schedule for the 2026 season. And there are some incredible Dodgers giveaways this year and an epic troll job by the Dodgers to the San Francisco Giants. It was so good. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Ronnie, the parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Starts the 50-50 clock. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the number one Dodgers podcast, a Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, a credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at dmac_LA. If you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, it just takes 1 second. Smash the subscribe button. If you want to support every episode, drop a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know which Dodgers giveaway you most want for the upcoming season, because the giveaway list is absolutely loaded. Can't wait to get in on that. Today's episode is brought to you by the LA Sports Report. That is my new show, my new channel dedicated to all LA sports, not just the Dodgers, but we talk a lot of Dodgers. Also, we got the Rams, USC, UCLA, the Chargers, the Kings, the Clippers, all things LA Sports. If you do me the biggest favor, subscribe. And we're less than 150 subs away from 6,000 just in a little over 2 months. Once we hit 6,000, we're giving away that Kyle Tucker jersey over there. So go subscribe, comment King Tuck in the comments so I know you are there. And special announcement, starting this week, I've been working on this for quite some time. And starting this week, you are going to have the ability to call and leave a voicemail, and I will play it on the show. The number is 415-952-3622. Wanted to get an easy number, a vanity number. Went through a lot of them. The one I could get, though, was 415-9LA-DMAC. 9LA-DMAC. So 415-9LA-DMAC or 415-952-3622. Leave a message. Give me your hottest Dodgers takes. Give me your questions. Go off, and I'm going to play it on this show. And then we're also going to have the ability to call into the show live at some point, too. But leave your fire Dodger takes. I want your name and where you're calling from. That's the only way I'm going to play on this show. I need your name. I need where you're calling from. If you want to have your username, that's fine. But give me your name and the city where you are calling from. And you can ask me anything. You can come with a hot take. Whatever it is, drop it over there. We're going to start that this week. We're going to try to have every single episode. Once we get a ton of them, we're going to do a contest for the launch of that too. So one more time, it's 415-952-3622 or 415-9LA-DMAC, 9LA-DMAC. So we'll get into that. We'll get into those. I want to hear you guys are basically my co-hosts on this show too. So I want your voices heard. That's what the show is all about, getting Dodgers fans a platform to give you the real thoughts, comments about your boys in blue. But it is a Monday. Pitchers and catchers report this week. We are Michael Kopech days away from opening day. Pedro Martinez days away from opening day. That's 45 days until the Dodgers start the regular season and their road to three-pitting. But there's so much to get into in the world of Dodger baseball. So let's get right into it.
Leading off the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the hottest story in Dodger baseball. It's a lot to choose from, so we're just going to kind of get you around the horn and get caught up on some headlines. And the first one I do want to get into, I think it's a major story this year, is going to be the development of Roki Sasaki. And last year in Japan, I asked Roki Sasaki about how important it was to develop a third pitch, and he said it was an absolutely pivotal goal of his to be able to find that third pitch. And Dylan Hernandez of the California Post, he put out a story about Roki Sasaki about having to develop a third pitch, and Dave Roberts reiterated the same thing. He's got to develop a third pitch. And Roki Sasaki, he said that he's working on a cutter and a two-seamer. So Roki Sasaki is mainly a four-seam fastball thrower. He also throws a splitter that has an RPM less than 1,000, which almost feels like a knuckleball at times. But the velocity was down last season when he was struggling in the regular season. Then that picked up during the postseason when he took on that role as a Dodgers closer. Well, Roki told us at Dodgers Fest, quote, I think there are two things. Just making sure that my mechanics are in a very consistent place so that I can be efficient with my delivery, and that he thinks that is going to be the key. And then secondly, I think it's about the physical part of it, and I think that just comes with working out. So he wants to improve the way that his body is functioning on an everyday level, as far as making sure that he's not getting injured, making sure he doesn't have the shoulder injury, making sure that he's athletic enough to be able to have that downward motion and have those hips as a part of his delivery. He would say, aside from the mechanics, actually getting my body parts, regaining my body's functionality. One example is with my groin, making sure that the function of the groin is in the right place. So aside from the mechanics, it's more about functionality of each body part. So we really need to pick up the talk on Roki Sasaki for this year, because it almost feels like we're getting a do-over on his rookie season. And if I told you this offseason that the Dodgers would have signed a pitcher that the organization felt has the potential to be the best pitcher in the world, and he himself has a goal to be the best pitcher in the world, that was the number one prospect in all of baseball, the number one pitching prospect in all of baseball as well, you would say that's right at the top. But because he kind of drove that car off the lot last season, he did struggle throughout the regular season, and there was that shot of him getting emotional after a rough outing, that it felt like, oh, maybe he's not the guy that we had hoped he would be. But let's not forget here, Roki Sasaki made just 8 starts in his first taste of big league action. And yes, it wasn't great, a 4.72 ERA in 34 1/3 innings. The strikeouts, they were down a 6.29 strikeouts per 9. He walked more batters, a 5.77 walks per 9. Then in Japan, we saw a 10.5 strikeouts per 9 and him walking 2.6 batters per 9 innings for the Chibalote Marines in his last season in the MPB in 2024. But he did have an oblique injury, and the fastball velocity, which was over 100 miles per hour in Japan, was topping out at anywhere from 95 to 96 miles per hour in the show. He was hitting anywhere from 92 to 95 for the most part. And the bottom line with Roki Sasaki is his fastball has to be effective for him to have any chance of being the pitcher that he's hoping to be, an elite fireballer, a frontline starter. And the forkball, really, like I said, it's almost like a knuckleball, a circle change. It's kind of a wild pitch that can go out of the zone. He can also catch batters off balance in the zone. Well, that has to be better too, because you wanted to see him have that level of success where that pitch actually was good, a good pitch for him. I mean, opponents hit 158 off it, and he generated whiffs on 35% of the swings. And that slider can be an option. It really can. Opponents were 3 of 12 against the slider So the slider is kind of the pitch as well. So will it be a cutter, a sinker, and a slider to pair along with that forkball and that four-seam fastball? That's the biggest question, because that's the number one thing. That's the number one thing you have to look for Roki Sasaki. And yes, the third pitch is important, but the number one thing that I think people are losing sight of is how good that four-seam fastball can be. And last year, it was not good. Opponents hit 253 off the heater, slugged 494. He gave up as many home runs, really, 6, and 2 others really were robbed by Andy Paya's great plays as strikeouts that he got with 8. So he had a 10.1% whiff rate on his four-seam fastball. It was the 5th lowest of four-seam fastballs last season. So that's the biggest thing. We've talked about how the hips and the mechanics were improved and he got the velocity back, but he's working on those 2 pitches. And I think that is the number one thing for Roki Sasaki is if he can get the mechanics right, if he can develop a third pitch, I still think he has the potential to be a top 10 pitcher in Major League Baseball. And not a lot of people are talking about Roki because of the year he had, but let's bring back the hype for Roki Sasaki. I think it's absolutely still on the table, him being an elite pitcher for this team. And considering that they have him under team control for another 5 seasons, and you get him at his minor league level money, essentially, and big league minimum level money until he gets arbitration, it's major. It's absolutely major. Developing him is going to be huge. But next story let's get into is I want you guys to get hype, okay? I want you guys to run through a brick wall, and I want you to see what the Dodgers put out for their, hey, baseball's over, it's time for baseball to start video. This will get you hyped. You're going to want to inject this in your veins. Here, check it out. So it's just a taste. It's just a taste, right? But it's 15 seconds all you really need, right? To beat the champs, you got to knock them out. And it really feels like this week, you can hear those cleats going through the dirt. You can smell the grass. You can hear the pop of the glove. You can hear the crack of the bat. Baseball is in the air right now, and it's time to really get this thing going, and we're going to do that this week. But before the season begins, well, you got to have the WBC. You got to have the spring training completed before that. And for the WBC, the Dodgers are going to be well represented. I am going to be making my way to Miami. Hopefully we see some Dodgers in the finals. And I think there's a pretty good chance that you will. But for the WBC, the Dodgers, they're very well represented. And you got 9 players total as far as players in the organization. And we saw a shot of Hae-Sung Kim wearing his Korea jersey. You've got Shohei Ohtani is going to be playing for Team Japan, as well as Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Roki Sasaki said that was a conversation that they made mutually for the organization himself to not participate, but you're getting a good amount of players in there. From the United States, you have Will Smith, of course, and then former Dodger Clayton Kershaw. And then Puerto Rico, Edwin Diaz will be participating. Great Britain, you have a player by the name of Antonio Knowles, a pitcher in the minor league system. For Israel, you have infielder Jake Geloff. The Netherlands, you have pitcher Shandrik Odober. So you got 9 players total. Of course, Japan has the headliners with DH Shohei Ohtani and pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They will be participating in the WBC. And Mookie Betts isn't there. Kike Hernandez won't play for Puerto Rico as he deals with that left elbow injury. Miguel Rojas has declined insurance. The reason why Mookie Betts isn't playing, his wife is expecting another child. They're expecting another child in March. Freddie Freeman, he played first base for Canada in 2017 and 2023. He withdrew for personal reasons. So deeper than that, too, you get Dino Ebels coaching third base for Team USA. He was there in 2023. Yair Fernandez will be back managing the Great Lakes this season. He's the hitting coach for Columbia in the WBC. So there's lots of Dodgers all over the place. The minor leagues, I think, are pretty interesting, though, for sure. Jake Geloff was a second-round pick for LA in 2023. He played last year in High A for Great Lakes. And Antonio Knowles, a 2021 draftee. He's pitching for Great Britain. By the way, Great Britain, hopefully they get better jerseys. They had those Microsoft Paint jerseys back in 2023. He got all the way to AAA Oklahoma City last season. And pitcher Chandrik Odeber from Aruba, pitching for the Netherlands. He appeared in 29 games last year for High A Rancho Cucamonga. So let's all root for those Dodgers, and mainly, too, let's all root for Edwin Diaz to not get hurt. He suffered a patellar tendon injury in his right knee while he was celebrating a Puerto Rico win in the WBC. It knocked him out for the entire 2023 seasons. That definitely scares me. I think other thing too is Will Smith and the workload. That's another thought. Is I'm glad that the two best catchers are on the same team, and Cal Raleigh and Will Smith. And Will Smith is back for his second WBC. He actually told me in Atlanta, I talked to Smitty about going to the WBC, and he said he absolutely was hoping to be there, and he gets his wish. He's representing his country once again. But you also have Cal Raleigh as the other catcher that's going to be there. So I'm hoping they balance it out. I don't want to see Will Smith catching too much. I would love to see him there in the final, but the fact that he's sharing duties with the MVP runner-up in the American League probably lets me know that he's going to be catching a lot too. And Cal Raleigh, he played in the ALCS, so he played deep into the season. So really interesting to see how they split that up. By the way, congratulations to Clayton Kershaw. It's official now. He will be a part of NBC's Sunday Night Baseball along with Joey Votto. I think that's going to be awesome. And Anthony Rizzo. I think a great casting there. And Bob Costas is holding on, baby. I love me some Bob Costas. So that's going to be very, very exciting to hear Clayton Kershaw take his career to the next level as far as, hey, he was great with Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser in the dugout during games, but I can't wait to see him on NBC, who I think NBC clears Fox. I think NBC clears CBS. I mean, when it comes to making events just feel bigger, no one comes close to NBC. Ding, ding, ding. It just feels that way. All right. Let's get into some other stuff, too. I see you guys rocking in the comments. Who's calling in? Who's going to drop me a voicemail so I can play their voice on the #1 Dodgers podcast? Only baseball podcast gets more listeners and views as our friends over at John Boy Talking Baseball. So you guys would be on the #1 Dodgers podcast. So I want to hear you guys. I want the fire takes. I want your questions. Let's get into some comments here. NBC needs new blood. They got new blood. It's a whole new cast. Dave S. Love to see Kirsch do a few games for Spectrum. Also, keep it real, OG. Knowing the workload that Will Smith has had, when will Rushing get his chance? We'll answer that later during the 7th inning stretch. I think that's one of the #1 questions I'll be wanting to know from Dave Roberts during the early scrums at Camelback Ranch. By the way, a reminder, I am heading to Arizona Friday. We'll be there for the first day when pitchers and catchers report. Be sure to subscribe because, hey, we are there. We are boots on the ground. We are in the clubhouse. We are in front of Dave Roberts and Andrew Freeman. We are in front of the players, and I am here representing you guys. Okay, so anything you guys want from me, let me know. And I'll try to get that for you. The World Series greater than Super Bowl from ally_LUE. Yeah, I've got some thoughts on that because, look, let's be honest. Yesterday's Super Bowl could cure insomnia, all right? And when you compare that to what the Dodgers did in the World Series, I mean, we're going to forget the Super Bowl by tomorrow if you haven't already. We're going to be talking about that Dodgers World Series against the Blue Jays until the end of time. So, yeah, incredible World Series. And I could not agree. Could not agree more that I was thinking about the entire game, just how great that World Series was and how lucky we are that the Dodgers are making life exciting for baseball fans, right? That team that's ruining baseball actually gave you must-see TV. All right. So let's keep going through some of these news stories to get you guys caught up. And we've got some other stories that want to talk about too, and that is a sad one about Terrance Gore, the former Dodger, brief time with LA in 2020. He passed away, and it's a sad story. He's the age of 34. If you remember, during the 2020 season, he was a part of that Dodgers team briefly. He was with the Braves in 2021. He appeared in a combined 112 regular season games in parts of 8 regular seasons. And he was with the Royals when they won a title in 2015. He was with the Dodgers when they won a title in 2020. He was with the Braves in 2021. So he was very beloved in the baseball community, and it was a very tough to wake up to that news for sure. So rest in peace to Terrance Gore. And that one's a very tough one. And thoughts, prayers go out to all of his friends and family. And we're thinking about Terrance Gore for sure. And another story that came out over the weekend was the Yasiel Puig, friend of the show, in-studio guest last offseason. He was found guilty on 2 federal charges. This is from Sam Blum of The Athletic. Quote, ex-Dodgers star Yasiel Puig was found guilty of obstructing justice in providing false statements to investigators, ending a years-long saga stemming from one voluntary interview with federal authorities. Puig now faces up to 20 years in federal prison, though any sentence could be far more lenient. Jurors took most of the 2 days to unanimously agree on Puig's guilt. The 35-year-old's charges related to a January 27, 2022 interview with investigators who are looking into an illegal sports gambling operation. He was released on bail, and he's awaiting his sentencing. He'll go on to say the government requested that Puig be remanded, stating their belief that he was in a flight risk. Judge Dolly MG disagreed, stating Puig can remain on a bond, but would have to check in with the court before any international travel. So these charges are not based on anything that Puig did as far as betting, but it's solely about him lying to investigators when he was questioned about this illegal gambling operation that was going on. And just kind of looking into it, his representatives, they're arguing that he was cooperating and that he was cooperating fully with the government, but he just did not understand what they were saying, and they're trying to cite some issues that he had as far as processing it, and they're trying to cite some cognitive obstacles that he may have during the questioning. So we'll see what happens with Yasiel Puig. I'm going to try to reach out to his agent to see if I can get any more additional information. I mean, it's just kind of an ongoing thing about Puig. It's definitely a sad story. I mean, the rise of Yasiel Puig, the wild horse, Puig mania, and then all the issues in between. And he appeared on my show during the World Series, and he said, hey, his goal was to get a minor league opportunity with any club in Major League Baseball, and that his dream, his number one goal, was to return to the Los Angeles Dodgers in some capacity. And you wonder if this development ends any chance of him not only becoming a Dodger again, which was essentially a 0% chance that any other team even gives him another opportunity. So really, let's just call it what it is. Like, it's just kind of sad how things ended with Yasiel Puig in his major league career. And yes, he had some great years, but I still think that looking back at his career, it's always going to be what if, because look, I mean, I only really like even talking about the Basketball Hall of Fame because like everyone gets in. I'm pretty sure I'm in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure you're in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like, it's a boring conversation to talk about the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like, and that's what happens when you water down your Hall of Fame and your entrance right there is it makes it so easy to get in, right? I mean, it's like Will Campbell for the Patriots is defending the Basketball Hall of Fame, right? For the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's Orlando Pace, right? It's like it's tough people that are letting people in, right? And the Baseball Hall of Fame, I think, is much more fun to talk about. And the Football Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame, is much more fun to talk about because not everyone gets in. And the reason I bring this up is if you saw Yasiel Puig at the start of his big league career in those first couple of years, with the athleticism, with all the tools that he had, with the charisma and the personality, was one of those rare players that screamed Hall of Fame potential. And I don't throw that label out there for a lot of guys in Major League Baseball because it's so hard to get in. You need longevity. You need to be great. But he's a guy that, man, if he just was someone that was locked in, didn't get injured, or just kind of kept that prime going, you never know. So I think ultimately looking back at Yasiel Puig, it's going to be a lot of what ifs when it comes to his career for sure. DMAC doing everything but YouTube memberships. Yeah, we're working on that. That's from Yogmil33. I'll keep you posted for sure. See you there, DMAC. I'll be there Wednesday. What's up, Doom_Sal? You guys know him. He's a crazy guy, man. That's all I got to say. Our Carino, DMAC, let's meet with the chat in Arizona for a cookout next to the backfields. Sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like a lot of planning, too. But yeah, we got you, man. We'll talk about that. Jack Geezy, DMAC in 5. All right. So now let's get to the promotional schedule for the Dodgers. The Dodgers released the first part of their promotional schedule and their single game ticket sales for 2026. So this is the first one, and they'll do some tweaking along the way, but there are some gems for their promotional schedule. You got a lot of really cool stuff, amazing bobbleheads, and the initial takeaway is that we had Miguel Rojas on the show telling us that he wanted to get a bobblehead, and he's going to get his wish. He is going to get his bobblehead, and just kind of taking a look at some of these, we got some right here. How about this one? This is the Shohei Ohtani best game ever one that you're going to see. And there's pitching, there's hitting. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a gold one. How about this? You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the Game 7 last out. This is incredible. Head of the sky. How about Will Smith's Game 7 home run bobblehead? How about Mookie Betts Game 7 double play? How about Miguel Rojas Game 7 home run bobblehead? So you're going to have an entire Game 7 series. Yamamoto, Will Smith, Mookie Betts, and Miguel Rojas. Alex Vesia got the purple glove. He's pumped like Alex Vesia usually gets. We're getting Alex Vesia bobblehead. How about an Ice Cube bobblehead in the lowrider with the 2 World Series trophies? Love that. But as far as the other dates, so March 28th, that is the first one. March 28th, Will Smith Game 7 home run. Will Smith Game 7 home run on March 28th. April 10th, it's the Shohei Ohtani greatest game. April 25th, a Roki Sasaki bobblehead. May 8th, Miguel Rojas Game 7 home run. May 9th, Blake Snell bobblehead. May 12th, Ice Cube lowrider. May 25th, Dave Roberts. May 27th, Yoshinobu Yamamoto Game 7 last out. That's a must get. That's a must get. I'm going to rank these, but I'm telling you that one's going to be very high on that list. May 29th, Alex Vesia getting his bobblehead. I love that. That's going to be special. May 30th, Teoscar Hernandez. June 6th, Tyler Glasnow. bobblehead. June 19th, Mookie Betts Game 7 double play. June 20th, Shaquille O'Neal. So no pictures of this yet, but a Shaquille O'Neal bobblehead. I have to see what this is all about. I love the Diesel. I love Shaq, but I'm curious to see what the reasoning for a Shaq bobblehead was. So, awesome stuff. July 6th, Freddie Freeman, 18th inning walk-off. That's going to be special. July 8th, Shohei Ohtani, Greatest Game Part 2. So, the Greatest Game Part 2 is going to be either the pitching or the hitting. So, going to do one hitting for the 3 home runs and then one pitching for the 10 strikeouts. This, of course, is for Game 4 of the NLCS against the Brewers. And then July 11th, the Sun Heung-min, the soccer player for LAFC. That's really awesome. He's extremely popular globally. July 29th, this is a must-get for me because I want the new players always. Edwin Diaz, I'm wondering, are they going to have a button that plays Timmy trumpets, just like we saw last season with the Joe Davis that has the button that has Joe Davis saying the final call of the World Series, let's start the party, Los Angeles. So I'm curious if that's it. I think Edwin Diaz is a must-get. July 31st, Kyle Tucker gets his bobblehead. King Tuck. Let's tuck and go. August 14th, Clayton Kershaw gets a bobblehead. Will Clayton Kershaw be there to accept some type of, I don't know, award throughout the first pitch? I mean, let's make sure Clayton Kershaw is a part of the Dodgers experience, even in retirement. August 10th, Max Muncy. August 15th, Reggie Smith. So they're going to be celebrating Reggie Smith this year. August 22nd, Shohei Ohtani. And September 5th, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So I think for me, the must-gets from these is Miguel Rojas, I think, is number one. I really do. Because I know it sounds crazy, but he's never had a bobblehead. And he gets his first bobblehead in his final year. It's probably going to be his only bobblehead. It is going to be his only bobblehead. So that is going to be really cool to see Miguel Rojas get that bobblehead, celebrating what I think is the most important home run in Dodgers franchise history. So that's number one. 2 is going to be, I got to go the greatest game, the Shohei Ohtani greatest game series, because it's Shohei, and I want to do the pitching one, and then I'll do the hitting one. Then Shohei Ohtani, there's another one. We'll see what the theme is for that. But I think before that, I want to go Edwin Diaz and then Yamamoto, the final out. I mean, but let me know down below. Where do you guys rank these? Which one are you looking most forward to seeing? Because this is an absolutely loaded promotional schedule. I forgot who I was talking to. I think I was talking to someone in the industry. And the Dodgers, I just want you guys to know this, that the Dodgers do bobbleheads more than any team. It's not even close. It's not even close. The Yankees don't do this. The Mets don't do this. And the Dodgers, they do it more than any team, and they take care of their fans like that. So you got to love that. The Dodgers are next level when it comes to the bobblehead giveaways, and I'm really looking forward to it. But all right, let me know down below which one are you most looking forward to on the 7th inning stretch, where I answer all your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue.
The 7th inning stretch.
What is up? We've got some more down below. Guys reacting to the bobbleheads. Easy money maker for Guggenheim, the bobbleheads. Justin Lamas. Justin, where's my voicemail? We got Hell Yeah Miggy from John Shaw the Black. We've got Mr. Classic. We need a Dave Roberts in a toy car Porsche bobblehead. I like that idea. Smith bobblehead is great too. Absolutely. That's from Comasem. R. Carino. Miggy Rose will be on my birthday. Feel free to send it gift wrapped. Okay, I will definitely do that for you, Ken. Rojas's swing saved Major League Baseball from Pika Peak. BC, Rojas' swing didn't just save the game or the series, it saved a dynasty. Absolutely. And I said that on this show, the post-game show right after, is that was the swing that saved a dynasty. And also a swing that maybe will lead to a lockout. You just never know. But yeah, it was that significant. I dubbed it the the most important home run in Dodgers history minutes after the game, and I still feel that way. I don't think that was recency bias. I think that was definitely that. Justin Lamas can't wait to do so on a voicemail soon. Yeah, I'm going to just leave that up here just so you guys can see the number to call. I want to feature on the show. I want some trash talk. I want some fire takes. Anything you got. I just want to hear you guys, your voice on the show, because you guys are a big part of what makes this show what it is. Modesty 2.0 when Puig broke out. DMAC, what is up with the roster right now? Will Klein bobblehead. The thing about Will Klein is, will he make the opening day roster? That's kind of the big question too. Is Will Klein going to make the roster? And it just kind of makes you wonder if he is. I think that he's going to be a depth piece for sure, but he has to make that roster first. All right, we've got 415 no Cal. What the hell? That was because it was the only number I could get that could do the LA DMAC, or just something that was like a little better. DMAC doing a shoey bobblehead. $2 super chat. Will Klein needs a bobblehead. Starving goes, I agree. Will Klein needs a bobblehead. And even if he's not on the roster at the time, just private jet him in and just have him be there for it, right? I mean, he 100% deserves a roster, a bobblehead, even if he's not on the roster at the time. Yeah, as far as the roster questions, DMAC, will Hae-Sung Kim be on? I think that the second baseman is going to be Miguel Rojas and Hae-Sung Kim. And Tommy Edman is coming off of right ankle surgery. He did not rule out the possibility of being ready to roll when opening day comes around, but he is taking that that rehab process, and he's making sure that when he's back, he stays back. So I think Kim, for now, I think the fact that they did away with Andy Ibanez, and that was the case, that I think with Hae-Sung Kim, that for sure he's not going to be a part of it, and I think he's going to be a part of it, and we'll see what that means for Alex Freeland as well. Mookie Betts, of course, your shortstop. Max Muncy is your third baseman. I think I got this one here from Joe Magazzini. DMAC, what about the outfield? The interesting thing to me is will Tommy Edman start the season ready to go? Because if he's not, then maybe the Dodgers take 5 outfielders and you have Michael Ciani on there and Alex Call as a way of saying, hey, the Dodgers, they claimed him twice off of waivers. Does he make the opening day roster? Because Call, he definitely has some playing time, but Ciani, he's been better as a center fielder replacement possibly later in the game too. So we'll see. I mean, that's just another question. I mean, would you have Teoscar, Andy Paz, Kyle Tucker, Alex Call, and Michael Ciani? That's kind of a question there that we'll need to find out. But as far as the bullpen, that's the other fascinating one I see here. This is from Chris Liu. Will Klein be on the opening day roster as a bullpen piece? I think right now, if we're looking at it, obviously Edwin Diaz, they've already announced, is going to be the closer. Obviously Tanner Scott is going to be there, as well as Alex Vesia. Then I think after that, Brusdar Graterol, can he stay healthy? If he is, you expect him to be on there. Blake Trina, if he's healthy, expect him to be on there. Jack Dreyer had a really solid year last season. He was a workhorse in the regular season. Him and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, those are the two guys that were the only active pitchers throughout the entire year. Robleski, I think, definitely deserves a spot. He's a guy that he's kind of in between, but they can also... He's a guy that can start games for you. He's kind of a swingman, so he's very versatile in his role. And he would just look really good when he was good last season. So I'm very high on Robleski, especially with Anthony Bonda gone. And then Will Klein. I'm just going to throw Will Klein on there right now because, I mean, Will Klein, he's got big stuff the way that it plays. And they like guys that have live fastballs with movement, and his stuff really plays as far as his ability to get those pitches where he needs them to get to. And what Will Klein told me was just being able to get out right-handed batters, if he can do that more with the shape of his slider, that they feel really good about his ability. And I think that there was that clutch factor, right? He did break through on the biggest stage, and you want more of that if you're the Dodgers, right? If a guy can pitch like that in the World Series, you have to believe that gives him a ton of confidence to see if that can translate to the regular season. So I would just run the momentum with Will Klein and guys that you might not see: Ben Casparius, Edgardo Henriquez, and Kyle Hurt. Kyle Hurt's working his way back. He was in the Stay Hot camp. He's getting closer and closer, and I think he's going to be a factor this season for sure. But they're probably going to want to get him going possibly at the AAA level and then give him his opportunity. And look, here's the truth, and I hate that this is a reality, but you got to realize that, look, is Blake trying to stay healthy the whole year? Probably not, right? Will they lose a couple of these guys at some point throughout the season? Of course they will. That's just how it always is. So they have depth, and you're going to see these guys get opportunities. I had my friend Casey Porter on the show last week, and he thinks that Jackson Ferris is going to get an opportunity this season. So, look, it's a long season. A lot of guys are going to pitch. The Dodgers are essentially using 40 pitchers a year. So, you got to expect that. A couple more. What's the third base options next year? Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do at third base moving forward, because one of the reasons why we talked about, hey, well, what is it going to look like after the 2026 season in free agency? We talked about how they could push for a salary cap and they need to negotiate a new CBA and things like that, right? Well, the truth is a lot of unknown. But next year, I mean, Bo Bichette's going to be a free agent possibly because he has that player, and we'll see if he picks it up. But you look at outside of that, I mean, where are the position players that really get you excited, right? Eugenio Suarez has a mutual option. Alec Boehm. I mean, I think the Dodgers are really going to have to kind of look internally a little bit and look. Alex Freeland, could he be a guy in the future that kind of takes over the reins there? And we'll see what you get from some of these next wave of Dodgers players. But yeah, it is a big unknown, and they're going to have to kind of ride out this season. I think you will see some platooning with Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez when he returns, and Max Muncy will probably sit sometimes against lefties to make sure that he's healthy throughout the regular season, ready to go for the postseason. And he's had some struggles against lefties, and that's in recent years. For most of his career, he's had some pretty even splits. But the truth is, I mean, there's not a lot of great options. I mean, do the Rangers look to trade Corey Seager and the Dodgers can put Corey Seager at third? Hey, sign me up for that, right? Would Will Smith or consider move to third at some point where he played at Louisville and Dalton Rushing becomes your everyday catcher? That wouldn't happen next season after the upcoming one, but down the road, is that a possibility? So yeah, you can unpack it in a lot of different areas, but that's certainly going to be a position where you're going to kind of want to explore if you are the Dodgers. And it's 1 year at a time, but definitely is a part of the calculus moving forward. But some more comments here. Hey, go get Anthony Rendon. How about that? Okay, I'll duck. 2027 scares me. Bloodhound Lil Jeff Ellie is going to force a trade here like AD did to the Lakers. BC, a lot of people don't seem to understand that a lockout doesn't mean losing games. They just had one in 2021. Yeah, a lockout, exactly. And from what if owners really want a salary cap, they're going to miss games. They might miss the entire 2027 season if they're going to push for a salary cap, but they're going to have a lockout for sure. It's just going to be in between the season, which kind of stinks because it's still going to be bad for player mobility, and you want to get the free agency rumors going and things like that. It's not fun, but yeah, the question is, how long is that lockout going to be, and will you miss time? And that's the kind of the painful part of it. By the way, I did reach out to Anthony Bonda, was able to connect with him. I'm hoping to be able to at some point kind of interview him a little more in depth, but yeah, I mean, he really sent a lot of love to the fan base, and he seems like he's in a good place. And I think for Anthony Bonda, he's a two-time World Series champion, right? And I don't know, for some reason, like him getting DFA'd turned into this like weird war between players and or fans or something, like, and people using that as a way to determine like how much you know ball or something. I mean, look, let fans fan how they want to fan, and it's never a bad thing to get more eyeballs on the sport. And Anthony Banda was certainly popular, man. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. He's a great dude. He really is. Got a chance to know him a little bit. So I'm wishing nothing but the best for Anthony Banda. Okay, a couple more here. We have got a couple of more of these. None of the major sports leagues have ever canceled a season except the NHL, and they make half of what MLB makes. Yeah, like I said, that's the biggest things. Mets with Banda, that'd be interesting. Phillies with Banda. I mean, he's still good. I mean, he really is. I mean, Banda can help teams out there, and odds are he's going to get claimed. I'm calling it now. Banda goes to the Giants. Hey, it's a business, man. It's like, what did Seinfeld say? It's laundry, right? Blue Jays with Banda. Surprised Bonda's in the WBC. Yeah, if I get any intel on that, we'll talk about it on the show. But guys, definitely call in, leave a voicemail. And, yeah, we're running out of time here. So let's get to – and there's going to be lots of shows this week. The weekend I'm doing shows because I'll be down in Arizona. So be ready, guys. This is it. Like, we're here. Like, all the wait is over. And, yes, there's no games, but still we'll have more definitive news. We'll see if Kike Hernandez gets signed at some point early or later. He was at the Super Bowl getting down. So he always has the best ways of announcing when he returns, too. But here, let's get into the walk-off.
The walk-off.
It's the ball to right field. She is gone!
All right, today for the walk-off, I want to give some love to Dodgers outfield prospect Mike Sirota. Mike Sirota. The Dodgers' number 5 prospect, MLB's number 64. He was listed as a breakout candidate. MLB.com had this to say about the Dodgers prospect: a likely first rounder before slumping during his junior season at Northeastern in 2024. Sirota dropped to the Reds in the 3rd round, then went to the Dodgers in the Gavin Lux trade last January before even making his pro debut. The grandnephew of Hall of Famer Whitey Ford batted .333, .452, .616 with 13 home runs in 59 games between 2 Class A stops, and looked like a potential 2020 center fielder before injuring his right knee on a slide in July. So I like that. I like the Dodgers' top prospects. MLB Pipelines has Josue DePaula at 1, Zaire Hope at 2, Quintero at 3, Freeland at 4, Mike Sirota at 5. I think we need to be showing Alex Freeland a little more love. And we talked about the third base potential. Freeland has told me he wants to be the shortstop. And then Mookie Betts told me he wants to be the shortstop for the remainder of his career for 7 more seasons. So that's going to be Mookie's until further notice. So I think Freeland's kind of has to get in where he fits in. And the number one thing for Alex Freeland is if you can hit, you'll stick. If you can hit around 270 to 280, be a 15, 20 home run guy, something in that world, then, hey, if you're Alex Freeland, the Dodgers will find a way for you. That is the ultimate thing. Yes, it's difficult to break through with this organization because they're blocked at a lot of different positions. But if you are good enough and you're given that opportunity, the key is to kind of just come out swinging and then open their eyes to say, to the potential that you could have. But Alex Freeland in 2024 was an 18 homer guy across 3 leagues, high A and double A and triple A. And if he can be a 15, 16 homer guy and hit for some power and hit for some average, I mean, he's definitely someone that's an interesting story to discuss. By the way, we did joke about Tarek Skubal and Scott Boras bringing his 2 Cy Youngs to the arbitration hearing, and apparently that's what happened. Apparently Scott Boras brought the 2 Cy Youngs to the arbitration hearing, and yeah, basically that's how it is, right? It's 2 sides. They filed at $32 million, and the Tigers, they filed at $19 million, and you have to pick one or the other. You can't go in between. And basically how it works is the Tigers will tell the arbitration our arbiters and the people responsible why he doesn't deserve $32 million, and they'll basically try to knock down a player any way they possibly can. And then Tarik Skubal's camp will be like, no, this is why I deserve $32 million, right? So one side is saying, hey, this is why we're so great. One side is saying, hey, this is why you're not so great and you're not as great as we think you are and we can pay you less. And the arbiter in that situation has to decide which one makes more sense. And they were in the position with, Framber Valdez with the deferrals will be getting less, but you can kind of use that as an example, right? So, the bottom line and what we know now and the biggest takeaway is not about whether or not the Tigers are going to trade Tarik Skubal, because the truth is if they struggle, that it doesn't even matter. Like, they have to trade him to see what they can get for him at the August 3rd or before the August 3rd trade deadline. And I do expect them to move him ultimately. And it'll be largely depending on how healthy the Dodgers starting rotation is at the time and how big they want to go, because you're going to have to pay a major premium. I always say it's like you have to pay hotel minibar prices if you're going to get a player like Tarik Skubal at the deadline. But the biggest factor, too, is that Skubal is going to try to set a record for the largest pitcher's contract ever. They want to get past Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Garrett Cole and the big starters. They want $350 to $400 million, something in that range, and that's kind of the biggest flag that this plants right here. Is that I think that's the number one thing right there, is that hey, Skubal's going to get big bucks in free agency. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at dmac_LA. Drop me a voicemail so I can play it on the show. On all your hot Dodgers takes, any questions you may have, drop those over there. Subscribe, drop a comment. If you want to do me a huge favor, also subscribe to the LA Sports Report. I'll leave that link down below in the comments section. And once you guys go over there, you can be eligible to win a Kyle Tucker Dodgers jersey. So we're getting close to giving that one away. And remember, the most important thing is to make sure you realize that nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.